now that I have those figures figured out, start finally fitting everything together into the fuselage. So I have this guy pretty much where I want him, you know, the pilot, and I positioned him in there, refit that torso a few times, then, you know, while it was in there, got it exactly where I wanted it, and then touched some ultra thin between those two parts. Let that set up, pulled it out, and now I've filled it in with the thick super glue. I have his arm trimmed in exactly where I want it, but I'm gonna leave it off because I can't get him in and out of there with it on. Now I gotta work on this guy. I've cleaned him all up and seated him in there. I trimmed his butt down to get him to sit lower, but I'm going to swap out his arm, I think, with this arm. Okay, not the most natural of positions, but I think he looks all right. I'm gonna fit him in there and see how he looks. Yeah, okay. Again, it's inside the cockpit, you're not gonna see much of it, but one last, so there, that's all three together, and this guy's arm will be, you know, something like that. So that's how they'll be. I think I just need to paint, you know, these four guys and get them in there and get these pieces in here. Gonna do that next. Okay, like I said before, yeah, that fits pretty good. Now, yeah, you can see a gap between there, but I'll live with that. I'm more concerned about, you know, kind of how it looks from this way. Overall, I'm happy with that, so I will let those two sides dry. And then I took the Formula 500 canopy glue and just went around all of where the windows are, just to fill in any gaps and make that, you know, a smooth transition. Okay, so I've been thinking about, you know, how I want to display this. What I've decided on is I do like this idea of, you know, having it on a stand and then having it be able to go in. I think it'll have the most support. This is as close to the center, away from that Bombay. I'm thinking of putting this right there. You know, the acrylic rod would go up in there and hold it, and then I would kind of figure out how far down to come to put it there. That way I could put it on and take it off. For the bombs, I'm also going to use acrylic rod. And I have this bottom piece is wide enough. Just drill a hole there, perfect, you know, that perfect size, put that in there. And then I would have the bombs up against there on either side, falling. And, you know, probably only maybe about that much. So now I'm going to take this over to drill press and drill that out. I've glued this in now, and you can see I'm slightly off center here, and I did that on purpose. I just wanted a little more reinforcement for that. I'm going to paint inside there dark, so if when it's hanging, you can't, you know, it won't be super noticeable. And then I cut this hole, same time I cut that one. So I'll go like that, and I'll go like that. And then these are just on here with sticky tack, but this is what I'm going to do with the bombs, and I'll probably cut that off there. So I'll fill those in. These will all be smooth, and then I'll just, you know, super glue them to the acrylic. But, you know, that's basically what I'm going for. And then I'll drill a hole there, and they'll kind of be like that. So, yeah, pretty happy with the progress and having made this decision. So, yeah, again, it's going to kind of look something like that. Okay, I've got these guys in there now. This is kind of what I was going for. If you can see, there's a couple of guys in there. There's actually three up in there, but the guy in the middle is like standing in that doorway where the canvas is on mine. So you can see that's kind of what I was going for. Guy down below is smoking a butt. So with what I had, that's kind of the best I could get it, and I think that's pretty good. So yeah, their arms came out good. I positioned his arm on the kind of on the controls in the steering wheel, and they all fit in there pretty well. And then this guy's getting ready to go into the turret, but I've got to paint all these guns first. Now I've test fitted this gun up here, and yeah, I've got his legs. I still have to paint his feet and boots, but I've got his feet bent their legs bent and feet down in there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I have to say, these three guys are from the kit and they are really nicely detailed. You know, I gotta say, but for the fit issues, this is a really nice kit, I think. Oh, and by the way, in there is that antenna, and sure enough, it's off there. So if you had the 5th video in the pool, you win. I have to say, I really love working with the Vallejo. I've got the thinner slash flow improver combo there. Just a drop, you put a little of that in there, and you can, you know, just work on this, and then some water. It's easier to make washes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sold. Anyway, I went working, so I've got, as I said, I have these guys where I want them. Now I finally have that where I want it. And then again, I have the references for that back turret, which I now have to give some attention to. So painted all the guns. This is that gun that goes up in front there. And this is like a canvas that's wrapped around it because it goes through this hole in the windshield on the bottom, and they used to like kind of plug it up to, you know, keep the cold air out, and then use some of the brass and just touched where those are actually cartridges, and so those are like bullets, and touched in there, yeah, and then weathered everything up in here. So I think I have all of this kind of ready now to now finally start putting stuff into the fuselage and pulling that together. Oh, the other thing I have to do is these indentations here, those 4 squares, are the placement where these side guns, those posts would go into. So I'm gonna have to drill those before I do that. I also have to open those doors, so to speak, by folding those together. But yeah, I've just made a ton of progress here. So actually, I think this is a good stopping point. So like I said, next time I'll work on putting all this into the fuselage and closing that up. But very happy with the progress I've made to date, and I hope you found that interesting. And as always, thanks for watching and happy modeling.